Hello, I'm JP.
And I'm Tim.
And here
be Vidya.
That didn't work again.
You know,
the dream is dead.
I think we've got a couple of more sessions of this before we can get it, you know?
This is meant to be the re-upload, Tim. It's meant to be the one that's better.
Yeah.
This is our best effort.
God help us.
Fucking hell. Anyway, yes, so on that subject, yes, it's a re-upload. We
know what we're going to try and start afresh. And we're trying to go for more of a podcast kind of vibe for this.
Yeah, I think it'll work better.
It's like kind of just suddenly giving these to friends, kind of looking for some constructive feedback. Yes.
But still, it's feedback.
Well, you know, again, like we do appreciate a lot of the feedback we do get. But again, this is just very early days.
Yeah, it's one video at a time, really. You may remember the game that's in the background here from the original upload. As if it needs any introduction, this is the N64 classic Blasco.
You sounded a bit facetious there. This game is amazing.
It's actually really fun, yeah.
I'm
being entirely facetious.
When we originally recorded this video, we had no experience with this game before. Expectations weren't very high, but it really does hold up.
Yeah. In fact, last time the problem we really had was that we were just too into the game.
Yeah. So it didn't really help. Again, we want to create some quality content for this channel, and we weren't satisfied with what we had. So that's why we're yeah, exactly. Yeah, so how's your week been?
It's been okay. How's yours been? You played anything exciting this week?
I don't really have any chance to do anything but play games. I'm unemployed. You're not.
I still played games though, Tim. I played a lot of Tetris. Incidentally, inserting documents into an Excel spreadsheet. A lot of fun, especially when you start getting on the SFW files.
Oh god, this is our life. What I've actually done is, kind of out of spite, you've seen that the State of Decay, the new re-release they're doing for the Xbox One, which came out on the PC as well. I've been playing a lot of the original out of spite because I'm not paying for essentially a patch which adds a couple of features, including a new character, maybe some improvements. So I've been playing a lot of that, and that game's stressful. Have you played any State of Decay?
I haven't. I was actually looking at the re-release thinking, I could get that.
If you haven't already bought the game, it is worth a go. It's a great game, but I just don't agree with the prospect of buying a new, just buying a new individual title for a game I already own. If it was a cheaper patch, maybe I'd go for it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you've heard a lot about it. It is essentially base building, looking after the morale of all the survivors, this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly stressful because there's always something going on, and you have to kind of prioritize. But it's a lot of fun. But there's certain times where you just want the woman who's giving you these orders to shut up and let you do stuff.
I mean, it's definitely on my radar. But we should probably talk a little bit about Blasco.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what you're seeing here is the tutorial level. Several unskippable tutorial messages that go on far too long.
Yeah.
The idea of the game is, as you can see, just wreck stuff.
Yeah.
The arrows indicate where a explosive truck is going to go. Why is there an explosive truck?
It's best not to look too closely into the story.
Yeah. Although if you do, what you'll find is a truly heartwarming story of an intergalactic battle between the forces of good and evil.
And Blasco.
Blasco.
Jesus. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say about it. Like at certain points you're destroying people's property and like housing and stuff like that, and you have to wonder, like, why am I doing this just so this nuke can get to the other side of the map?
Yeah, it's never really explained why you're transporting a massive explosive across these heavily populated areas.
And I'm led to believe you're the good guys in this.
Well, let's believe that. It's certainly questionable.
It kind of feels like one of those like the opening of Team America World Builders.
It's very much the Spec Ops The Line of its generation.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, there's multiple levels. There didn't appear to be any particular knack to what order you do them in. Each path unlocks 2 or 3 more. It doesn't seem to build to anything though. The only difference seems to be just the vehicles that you use. As you can see here, there's a new vehicle, the Sideswipe, which is a bit of a ball ache at times, but
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I suppose that's, to be honest, the only really, the only really good
not
vehicle.
spoil the fun.
Yeah, it's coming up in the video.
It's coming. It's coming. Just wait for it. Wait for it.
Okay.
You'll know it when you see it, because we will make noises like giddy schoolgirls.
I'm really getting excited right now.
Just has that effect.
Yeah, it really does. What have you been playing this weekend?
Basically just GTA 5.
Oh, how's that treating you? Because from what I understand about your computer, you're using an old dual-core Flummox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much cheap and cheerful. It's actually surprisingly going okay. I have a couple of frame rate issues after switching characters, just because I'm alone in a different part of the map, and annoyingly enough, also when the radio's on. So I've had to play the game basically in silence the entire duration.
Yeah, I remember there was that issue with some of the self-radio songs, like they were too quiet for the.
Yeah, that was a bit of a ball ache. But no, it's running about as well as a toaster like I have. You would expect, but
Yeah.
no, the game is it's surprisingly well optimized, I thought.
Yeah,
Otherwise.
I'm still kind of amazed. Like that, I'm still amazed your toaster is actually still playing it competently. Like you said, there were some couple of frame rate dips, but I have seen people using the HD 4000 chipset. The Intel integrated graphics thing.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely crap, but it runs it and it looks pretty damn good. It's all in low,
Yeah.
but it runs, which is very good.
What's really frightening is that there are times when I've been in a certain area for a long time, and I've just been pottering around, maybe just hiding from police or stuff, and so I've had to stay put for one time. What I'm surprised by is there's occasions where the frame rate does creep up to 60.
I noticed there was quite a bit of problems with it seemed fairly inconsistent in certain areas. For example, nighttime driving, the frame rate always dips, but
Yeah.
usually when it's daytime, that's usually a little bit more consistent and higher.
Yeah.
So
It's been
yeah.
no, it is still the same game it was on consoles, which is to say, it's a decent game. I'm really looking forward to when they start doing a bit more of it, especially when they start to really handle mods properly, which of course they are.
Yeah, there's been some news this week. Obviously, that's later in the show, but it's worth mentioning that the new patch has broken a lot.
Come back to it later.
We'll come back to that. Yeah.
So there we go. So Blasco then.
Yeah, this guy, you do I remember at this part, you do kind of a ground pound on all the buildings.
Yeah, it's a proper Mario style ground pound, and wow, that was really off course. Yeah, so it's some kind of weird robot duck man here, evidently destroying buildings with his arse, which is just the kind of originality you just don't see in modern games.
You see,
What happened, gaming? What happened?
I remember just thinking this hallmarks of all this, all the kind of quirkiness of this. It sounds like a Japanese game.
It's very Japanese actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of thing I can imagine them coming out with, but actually made by British developers Ray.
True. This was one of the sophomore projects for the N64. I think this was released in '97.
Yeah.
I
Developed after, before, or concurrently with GoldenEye.
I'm gonna say probably either concurrently or after, because I remember GoldenEye might have been one of the very early projects for Rare.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell because that particular game was in development for years. I think it like started back when GoldenEye the film was still in production.
I think actually it started out on the Super Nintendo, and then I think at some one point it was a rail shooter. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. There was
I recall
many
that.
other
Yeah, it was meant to be a
iterations.
real
Yeah.
shooting, and they realised what they could do. Actually, it was Mario 64 that influenced that decision to make it more.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah, there you go. So it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you may recall we mentioned something about this really special machine that you get to use. That is just incredible and a joy to behold. This is not it.
No. This is, you start the game with a showstopper. You know
Yeah.
exactly
A
how
lot of
it
fun.
eases you into it. We had quite a profane name for it, which maybe we shouldn't.
Maybe we should let that one die.
Yeah.
Because I can't actually remember what the name of the thing is.
Don't make me say it.
I can't remember what the name of the machine is, but
It's
yeah,
on the tip of your tongue.
we'll get it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So yeah, this one, however, is a fucking nightmare.
It's a lot of kind of like doing like side swipes of donuts into buildings or trying to break with it.
Yeah. Maybe we're just bad at video games.
It's part of that.
Maybe. But I don't know. It just felt like you didn't really get told how to use this. It was just kind of swipe this. But
I think it was more so down to the fact that we were kind of distracted.
yeah, that's another point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just look at that. It's a hell of a run up. I'm fairly certain. Still didn't get it.
Yep. Mind you, those are awesome, impressive donuts.
Thank you.
Was it you playing this time? I can't remember.
I think it's the way to describe my seething hatred for this particular level. So yes, that would probably be me playing. I'm sure there would be some very coarse language on the original recording.
Yes. It's a good thing I formatted my PC since then.
Yeah.
Yep.
Come on, you can do it. Hey, there we go.
So, are we allowed to talk about where you work?
No.
Okay. that was easy enough. So it's been a bit of an interesting week, hasn't it?
It has been, yeah. I mean, speaking of speaking of Rare, a couple of their former guys have formed a splinter group. It seems.
That's right. So far, what they've actually released is some information on some of the roles. These guys have been involved in the original Banjo-Kazooie and the Banjo series.
Yeah.
One of the guys, Steve Males, he was actually.
And there goes the truck.
Yeah. This part here goes on for quite a while.
I recall, yeah.
Stephen Males, who has quite a expansive history with Rare, like since up to when they were doing Super Nintendo games. I think he's the character designer, isn't he?
Yes, he's character designer definitely on this new title. And for Banjo-Kazooie, I think he was just a general lead designer. In the art department for most
right.
Rover projects. Double Dragon he did.
He's got a lot of history with
Yeah,
it.
he's definitely a old hand at Rare, which is what makes it so surprising that he's leaving. Actually,
Yeah.
fourth time's the charm. I swear to God.
God. I almost wanted to re-record almost. But yeah, so basically what they're describing it as a spiritual successor to the Banjo series, which is Ukulele.
Yeah, they say spiritual successor. There's a lot of the Banjo-Kazooie spirit in there already.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's
Like, hand-me-downs tend to have a bit of wear and tear. They're never the same as they used to be. But fifth time's the charm. This one, what we've seen so far of Ukulele, it basically looks like Banjo-Kazooie with reskinned characters.
absolutely. It's well, apparently what's interesting as well is they've talked about debuting on Kickstarter. They've released a date. it's still a bit sketchy at the moment. Like by the time this comes up, it's probably going to already be up.
That's another interesting thing. Have you ever heard of like a Kickstarter having a release date?
A debut date, yeah. I think I have actually. Like I remember there was a kind of Jesus. You put me on the spot now. Thank you.
No worries.
There were a couple of titles where they actually had some kind of run up before debuting the Kickstarter. I remember, I believe that Silicon guy. I think what's his name? Dennis Dyack.
Dennis Dyack, yes, he had that.
The shady business with his Kickstarter, and also how he was like crowdfunding from multiple sources, that kind of thing. I think there was actually like a debut before he actually.
Was it called the Eternals, wasn't it? No.
It was basically
it was just
Eternal Darkness, Spirit Successor. But I suppose it remains to be seen. We don't know what kind of what funding goal they're going for.
Yeah.
Hopefully they won't be too ambitious, which is usually the problem with like you get established characters creating a new IP. They get a bit too ambitious with the funding goal they're going for.
That's what worries me. Is one thing I really dislike about Kickstarter is that a lot of the campaigns seem to primarily rely on people's nostalgia for something else that the creator's done, and especially in video games where, in particular, you have people who were like masters of their craft at one point.
And fallen on some pretty hard times.
Regardless of their record, they will tout their crowning achievements as part of the Kickstarter campaign, which I really feel is fundamentally wrong of them.
Yeah.
6 times the charm.
We need one of those counters for this.
We do. We need a little ping in the corner.
Yeah. What's interesting actually is going back to what you're saying. Like it was the same thing with Goddess and Peter Molyneux, and it was
exactly. I mean, to an extent, Broken Age and Schaefer as well.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning as well. Act 2 came out, and it's not being received very positively. But
I'm looking forward to playing it still. I've been trying to avoid some information about it, but what I've heard in the grapevine is that
it's.
They've managed to really drop the ball.
Subpar. Yeah.
Oh well. I'm just gonna say I didn't hate part 1.
I think I played a bit of it, but it was just something that people have been going on about is like how there's the puzzles are still it does practice too much of a good job with that. The puzzles are kind of a bit obtuse and
See, it's strange. It kind of goes both ways. Is that the puzzles are really kind of like out there in terms of the solution, but everything has a clear purpose. So when you pick up an item, I'm gonna have to use this at some point. So the puzzles do eventually. If you're not entirely sure what to do, you can just throw items at it until it works, because you don't get penalised for it. You just get to watch the same cutscene where you fail to solve the puzzle again and again and again. I say again and again, like 3 times at most, because there tends to be just 4 items in your inventory at any one time. I mean,
which sounds kind of surprising for like a LucasArts like Scum Engine inspired project, like how they've streamlined a lot of that stuff, but it's still a bit obtuse, I guess.
It's the logic to the puzzles itself that's obtuse. I told you this time would be the one. I told you.
I thought we were going to quit out there for a second when we brought up the menu.
Oh, there we go.
What was the point in that?
Oh god, that took like 10 minutes to finish that level. That's disgraceful.
Yeah, Jesus. Anyway, it remains to be seen how Ukulele is going to turn out.
But yeah, as I was just saying, in relation to this and this particular Kickstarter, the whole nostalgia thing, I worry that they're going to try and sell this on the merit of Banjo-Kazooie and not Ukulele. Yeah, and there's going to be a lot in the Kickstarter video about that. These are the guys who made Banjo-Kazooie, guys, and not nearly enough about this current game. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that they show actual footage of the game. I mean, I think the best way of what was
Stopping in the middle of a busy road.
What
Or
were we
with a
doing
new-
there?
I don't know. I'm gonna say you were driving because I'm ashamed.
You know, if it was you, that's just so embarrassing. I'm fully willing to accept it. just to take it off you, buddy. Just to take it off you.
Thank you.
Then you're very welcome. I think it was you though. But yeah, so that's. I've got hopes for it because I do like Banjo-Kazooie, but if Kickstarter's history has taught me anything with relation to games, it's that you aim low.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
if you invest, you do it understanding that you set yourself up for disappointment.
Yeah, if we're taking a completely cynical approach, funding.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you do, but we'll see. I have my hopes, but I don't imagine they'll be matched. You know.
Yeah. Well,
Keep an
saying
open mind, I suppose.
yeah, well, saying that I've had some good experience with you backing certain projects. I think I'm still sitting behind me now is the Wasteland 2 Survival Edition, and I think that was a fantastic project. But again, it was based on original IP, but it was mostly going after the Fallout nostalgia.
Yeah.
Similarly, Carmageddon. Again, all original IPs. Maybe I'm a little bit better at deciding where the money goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Ukulele.
Yeah. Kickstarter starts May 1st.
Yeah. As of recording.
There he is.
Thunder Fist. Yeah.
Thunder
that was
Fist. Fist. That was it. Thunder Fist.
Yeah, that's good. We didn't say what we said before.
Micropenis.
It's a callback to an earlier skit. Thank you. Okay. Well, as I was saying, we are obviously ignoring the obvious elephant in the room. This is a big news story, I feel.
Yeah. So speaking of talent departing their original, actually, we should probably mention the name of the offshoot that's doing Ukulele. It's Platonic Games.
Platonic Games. That's right.
Platonic Games. Do you see? Do you see what they did there?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, they put the word play instead of in Platonic.
Instead of platonic, as in a relationship between a man and a woman, as it should be.
Oh God!
This is just me as a hot. Right, can we move on, please? Okay.
Oh, okay. So
Silent Hills.
Silent Hills, yes.
Yes.
Speaking of talent departing their original companies, Kojima has of course left Konami, and allegedly,
he's
he seems to have left it.
it's
whether or not he's been pushed or jumped. That's the question.
Right now, the rumblings are saying, unconfirmed, of course, like most of these stories, is that he's actually now a contractor with Konami. Konami. That was a portmanteau of Konami and Kojima.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like, obviously we all know that there was that big rumbling a couple of weeks ago about Metal Gear Solid. Apparently their status, it's still rumbling ahead as far as we know. But we'll start with something what I couldn't never pronounce his name right. Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Said I believe it was kind of I believe he was doing kind of a convention. He mentioned that apparently the game's been cancelled.
I think it was a CinemaCon.
CinemaCon, that's right.
Mm.
And he's explained
Don't
that
quote me on that.
it's, well, I can quote that it breaks his greasy heart. So it sounds like at this point, yeah, Konami have actually officially cancelled the project.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is Super Bunny Hop has actually released a video earlier this week, kind of with more unconfirmed anonymous sources, but it does kind of shed some light into what's been going on with Konami. Basically, they have explained some of the inner turmoil. Like apparently, there's been desk moving, this kind of thing,
Yeah.
and it sounds like the CEO and founder of Konami at the moment, it sounds like there's been some kind of rift between Kojima and the CEO,
Right.
and it sounds like apparently they can they make a lot more. Well, they make like a fair amount on pachinko machines and
Yeah, apparently so.
video arcade machines. Yeah, and it sounds like I don't know. It's Konami's going through some serious shit at the moment.
Evidently. I mean, really, they're like Sega in that they've kind of mishandled most of their IPs over the last few years.
Yeah, and there's also talk about them moving similar to Sega to a mobile kind of development kind of.
And of course,
scene.
Nintendo.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's hot these days.
Yeah. It's fair to say that the big video game companies in Japan are just not doing very well at the moment.
They've had some trouble kind of adapting to the times.
Yeah,
Square Enix, there was. I remember. Well, obviously they're having some good times now, but there was that issue.
Yeah, they've.
while ago.
Yeah, actually, I'm kind of impressed that Square Enix are at least trying to expand their publishing arm more than anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're one of the guys who probably are going. I mean, Square Enix have been through some stuff in time. Do you remember? There was that merger between, back when they were just SquareSoft.
Yes.
There was a time where the Final Fantasy Spirits Within video movie was
Yes, that
almost bankrupted them. I will say this though, even though I don't particularly, because I'm a big baby scary and I can't play Silent Hill games, so finish. I will say this: it is a fucking crying shame that this is happening, and it seems almost senseless.
You enjoyed PT, didn't you, Tim?
I experienced PT. It's two of those words, post-traumatic stress disorder. Two of those are all apt.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, remains to be seen. It sounds like they are expressing interest in still doing things with the Silent Hill series.
Yeah.
But this project is done.
Yeah,
Cancelled.
apparently so. I'll say my main concern really is what happens with Metal Gear 5. I mean, obviously the game's it's gonna come out and it'll make them a lot of money. My worry is that if it doesn't make them enough money, if they're really in that dire straits,
Yeah.
and especially if they move to just exclusively mobile gaming, is what then happens with MGO? Because I mean, as happened with Metal Gear Solid 4,
Are you concerned they're going to turn off the servers?
yes,
Yeah.
that is exactly it. Because I mean, in the case of Metal Gear Solid 4, and I believe
it was the
Sustenance, they had another part of Konami doing the server hosting and what have you. And if you recall, it was pretty poorly handled. I mean, and it kind of not their fault, given there was a massive earthquake that kind of shut down a lot of the country. But
It's to a certain extent, you can't I can't find myself holding grudges to companies like EA who have to shut down these servers for games that aren't being played as much anymore. Even granted, there was a vibrant community for MGS4, but it's expensive.
Yeah.
But it sounds like they're going to mishandle this, like they've been mishandling the past, say, 3 months.
that's really what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that Kojima Productions are going to be able to do it. They are going to need a publisher to front the servers and the costs of running them. And if Konami can't do it, their only real option is to open it up to private servers and have
That
yeah.
it was a similar thing that happened with Metal Gear Online, where they actually have dedicated hosts, dedicated servers actually running the game, and
Yeah, and I think that's kind of a can of worms you don't really necessarily want to open.
I don't think there should be it's awful when there's a situation where the community has to kind of pick up the pieces. It was similar with the Dark Souls like PC port and stuff like that, where the community has to do something to keep the game running, or to make it actually stable.
Although speaking of the community doing all the work, Steam have been in a bit of bother recently, haven't they?
Yes.
Valve, sorry.
Speaking of things that were handled without any eloquence whatsoever, or tact, or
common sense, or understanding of the financial system.
what the fuck? There was. after an 80,000 strong petition, Valve have finally decided to take down paid mods. Users are being refunded for their purchases,
Yeah.
and I'm wondering how the content creators are feeling about that right now. But yeah, and it sounds like with the statement Valve actually released, they do have a desire to still pursue this in the future, but they need to bring this back to the drawing board.
I agree with the idea that like people have been saying is that modders deserve to be paid. Well, yeah, they kind of do deserve to get something for their efforts.
No, absolutely.
I mean, it takes a lot of work, especially in some cases. My main objection to this was Bethesda taking a 45% cut, and that's after the 30% cut that Valve took.
It was an incredibly meager amount the developers themselves actually received. To an extent, I'm not agreeing with the meager amount they were actually receiving. But if the rights to the actual
just to clarify, you mean that was going to the person who made the mod, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay,
the actual content creators and developers.
Yeah.
I don't agree with the amount that was given, but they still own the source code. They still own the rights to you're modifying the base of a game.
Yeah.
But still, the amount they were getting was just too little.
It needs to be scaled. That's the thing. Is that, I mean, if you're just reskinning something, the clue's in the name. You're just adding a new skin to an existing model. So in that case, yeah, you can say that Bethesda, if you were say like changing what an axe looks like in Skyrim, you would have claim to say that if you work with Bethesda, that we made that original model, therefore we deserve a bit of the profit because you didn't create that asset from scratch.
Yeah.
Where the modder did create an asset from scratch, I really think it's kind of a grey area. I mean, it's kind of awkward because the area where they stand...
Fucked up again?
Yeah, fantastic, yeah.
Go on, sorry.
It's fair to say we're not very good at video games, if I want to understate. But yeah, so the one that's going to warrant being the highest priced is going to be new game modes and like mods that change the
total
game.
Conversions.
Yeah. The kind of like the sort of thing that you find all the time, say Minecraft. Incidentally, funny story. Notch, you may recall, didn't want Minecraft on Steam because they were taking a 30% cut from the profits. When he heard about this, he was very enthusiastic about the idea of paid mods.
Oh yeah, that's right. And there was also the
Notch made $2 million selling a game that his community made most of the fucking content for.
What was interesting, did you see the there was actually an exchange between like this guy from the Best Gamers and Notch himself, and immediately after he blocked him.
Oh god.
I mean, yeah. Ethically, it's...
Yeah. And the other thing was that they didn't really outline in the EULA about what happens when mods don't work, or what happens... obviously this wouldn't happen with Skyrim because it's already... it's a game that's been around for... 4 years?
Since 2011, I'm going to say.
November 2011, yeah, so about three and a half years at this point.
Yeah.
Coming up 4. That's a game that's probably not going to get any patches by Bethesda themselves.
No. But then you have to account for the fact that there is going to be compatibility with other mods as well.
I would just like to take a moment just to say that this level is... It's kind of an example of a strange dichotomy this game has, where some of the levels aren't that good, and then you get something like this, which is a multi-part, multi-vehicle extravaganza, and it's just so much fun to play. Seriously, go out, and if you've got access to an N64, and
this wasn't emulated. I'm just throwing it out.
This was actually played on the N64.
Yes. I'm not sure if you were going to say it right. Anyway,
so this is a really fun, well put together level in comparison to some of the others in the game, and you've got to play because it's just unbridled fun.
Yeah. To be honest, it sounds like a lot of the quite a few of the levels actually are trying to like get some mileage out of some of the lesser used vehicles you'll find, like the well, no one likes the dump truck.
No one likes the sideswipe.
Nope.
Fuck that shit.
Takes a bit of skill, but no.
That's why I hate it. I don't have skill, Tim. I just have my pretty face and my luxurious voice.
Moving on.
God.
It's alright, I'll give you a moment to.
Oh, dear. Anyway,
This one took us a couple of pass-throughs to complete.
Yeah, it did. One of them is just legendarily bad. It's like... I'm not a fan of the phrase epic fail, but if I had to apply to a situation, in a few minutes' time, you're going to see a textbook example.
Just don't use it, please. Okay. I'm shutting the shit down. If you do.
Hey, shut my butt down.
Yes.
Oh.
So,
Yeah,
mods.
So, anyway,
What mods would you like for Blast Core?
I would like a Metal Gear Rex mod.
All the assets are there.
One set in the Middle East, where of course they don't hunt foxes, they hunt jackals.
Yeah. At some point they are going to reintroduce mods.
Yes, they are.
They just need a very eloquent solution to it. Something I heard was actually a very good idea. Was actually having a pay what you want scheme.
A donation system would work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think you should have to pay something. Like
Yeah.
to get them off, but setting the amount that you want to pay is the best way to do it.
And it also means like essentially, a lot of like for example the there was a couple of guys who actually just released their work on Pirate Bay and just said, look, this is what I do. If you like what you see, please, toss a couple of dollars my way.
Yeah.
And it worked out surprisingly well for that guy, McPixel. That was the name of it, I think. But the guy,
dear.
and who's to say it wouldn't work with mods?
No, I think it would.
Yeah.
I mean,
it seems like a much fairer way to do it.
I mean, effectively, it would be kind of similar to Patreon. What you find in Patreon is that if people support something, they really do put the money behind it. I mean, even if you're...
Yeah, they believe in it.
If you don't have a core engagement, then you won't make the money. But if you have like a core of people willing to put the money down, it doesn't matter how many people don't give you any credit or don't pay for anything, because the core will support it.
There was a similar issue with a guy called Penguin Zero. Love his videos, critical.
I'll just put this bag of money away.
Any more cross promotion you want to do? No, the guy basically donates all of his money that he receives from views to charities, and now he's in a situation where he says, look, it'll still keep going to charity, but if you want to toss some money my way, this won't change whatsoever what's going to happen with the money from the view count.
No.
And it's those kind of things that give you respect for content creators and developers, where they're actually, I'm not saying everyone has to give to charity. They're not some kind of, do-gooder kind of thing. But
well, we're certainly not.
No, this is all going to us. We're lining our pockets here. But it's those situations where you like the content, you like the kind of the ethos enough that you'll actually contribute.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't with systems like Patreon, it goes to show that people are willing to contribute if you.
Yeah. I mean, the entire idea of Kickstarter. Tim Schafer got $3.3 million for Broken Age.
Yeah.
Let's just say that again. Tim Schafer got $3.3 million
for Broken Age.
3.3 million for Broken Age.
Do we need to do another just let that sink in?
I don't know. How much did he make?
3.2?
Actually, that's about right, yeah.
Again, I go, yeah.
Anyway, actually, before we got distracted by talking about the level design of Last Call, what I was getting at was in the EULA for these mods, there wasn't really anything about what happens when the mod doesn't work. And what happens when, for example, I mean, we talked about GTA 5 earlier. What
Yeah.
happens when the content creator, sorry, not well, content creator, technically not wrong, I suppose. The original creator of the game patches it, and patches
Breaks.
often have a habit of breaking everything, as the recent one for
Yeah.
GTA 5 did.
Yeah, it's similar with also if you layer layer these mods one on top of another, where they're changing certain assets or changing certain files or whatever, it's gonna lead to some of the bad compatibility issues.
Yeah.
And
I think you'd have to be inside the project to really know exactly what the score is with it, but I have a suspicion, given the type of content that's been like paid for so far, which is mostly just reskins and new models, which, I mean, I'm going to be kind of reductive here, but in terms of mods, that's kind of small, kind of like what you cut your teeth on.
a lot of people have been kind of making that comparison.
Again,
of,
again, massive respect to people who mod stuff. I mean, I couldn't do it.
Oh yeah, there are people who move on to bigger projects as
Yeah,
well, who get
and-
paid for doing it as
Yeah.
a full-time developer.
My God, we did worse in this level than I thought. Yeah, so I mean, I'm suspecting that because it was just this cosmetic stuff, either they, well, as is very apparent, they didn't quite know what to do with the whole modding system, or they weren't really supporting the modders as much as they should have probably done before they launched this. So that's why you got stuff like reskin, like new character models and that kind of thing, because that is usually quite low impact.
Yeah, but I still think the pricing structure and stuff just needs to be sorted out.
Yes, very much so. I mean, I'll be honest, the actual prices of some of the stuff I saw, which was, I think, like generally 33 pence seemed to be the kind of standard for like a reskinned weapon, for example.
But then, of course, it varies drastically,
Yes.
and you get some of them that are going for like $3.99, that kind of thing.
Yeah. It's that kind of thing. It's that I have a huge problem with pricing on Steam for a lot of reasons. Primarily that you're not always going to pay for what the actual worth of the item is. It's a huge problem with early access games, and generally stuff that's been greenlit. Like early access stuff. You see early access stuff going for disgustingly high prices. There was a game I was actually really interested in. It's just called Hero Generations.
Yeah.
It's a roguelike, as is the fashion nowadays, where each move you make on this like square grid, it represents a year of your life, and you have to you build towns and acquire items and go on adventures and stuff.
So is it kind of like a cross between Settlers of Catan and maybe Risk kind of thing?
Not so much Risk, but the idea is that you spend like however much of your life doing this, and then you get hitched, you have a kid, and then depending on how you've done in that life, it changes what happens when your kid takes over as the playable character.
Oh.
And so it keeps going like that. And I thought that was a really cool idea, sounded really interesting. And then I looked at the price, and it's £11, and
It's a bit steep when it's kind of...
it's a little
yeah.
bit more than I'm willing to pay.
Yeah.
Generally, I mean, because it's early access, honestly, if it was a complete game, I would happily pay £11 for it. £19 for the special edition, whatever that means.
You're paying for the liability.
Yeah, I mean, it's the problem with early access is you don't know that the devs are going to support it. They might just take the money and just call it quits. I mean, half of these, probably half actually, is an underestimate. I'm sure it'll be more, but a lot of these companies, a huge amount of these companies, just go under.
Let's also like as you mentioned before about the issue of whether it's going to be supported. Which remember there was that fiasco with some of the Double Fine's productions of the games
Exactly,
that
yeah.
just stayed in an unfinished state. There's no.
Yeah.
Yeah, as an example, you can't say you're essentially paying for a concept, and it's kind of like a dice roll for whether that concept's going to turn out, it's going to be implemented very well.
Yeah. I mean, there's
yeah.
some high-profile projects that I'm fairly certain only eventually got made in full because of the pressure to do it. I mean, lest we forget, Tim Schafer got $3.3 million. for Broken Age.
I think, are we going to try and match the amount of times we've failed a mission to the amount of times we mentioned Broken Age?
We're going to be mentioning a lot of Broken Age and a lot of broken promises. But anyway, so that's the thing about the early access, is that these companies are the exact same thing as stuff that's Kickstarter funded or has a Patreon, is that you don't know that the dev's going to fund it, and if you paid like say £5 or $5 or wherever you're on the world for it, and you play a game for a bit and it's okay, but it doesn't really go anywhere, and the game just stops in its tracks, it doesn't get support. It's kind of shitty, but fine. You just paid £5 for it. It's not that big a deal. When you pay upwards of £10, sometimes close to 20.
Yeah.
When that game falls through, you are right to be really fucking pissed off.
And then there's the issue: will you be refunded? Probably not. Will you? Is there some? What? What's going to happen next? Where's the? Where does the developer lie in terms of
I'm trying to think of the most expensive one I've seen. We would need to look this up, but I recall Young Ventures, that absolute travesty train wreck that the Yogscast tried to put out, that had a pretty hefty price tag on for what it was.
And there was I think there's some kind of reimbursement, reparations. Yeah, great, we're making it sound like reparations for slavery. But some kind of
people aren't exactly marching on Selma to protest the Yogscast fucking up in early access.
Oh, a million man march. It sounded. I don't. Where does? There's not a good system for that, because more often than not, especially with cases like Yogscast, it's not. You don't get a satisfying kind of refund for it or whatever.
I mean, speaking of YouTubers and video games, have you heard that apparently there's a PewDiePie video game coming out?
Well, I guess that's it then. Yeah, I'm really surprised it took this long.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I don't think they've announced a price tag for it yet. But let's be fair, PewDiePie is not just making multiple millions off YouTube stuff each year because he's just loud and appeals to kids. It's because he's a shrewd businessman as well.
Oh yeah.
So
he knows how to play the system.
So I think conversely, what you're going to find out is he's probably going to attach a decent price tag to it, and like that, I imagine that will work out pretty well, because they actually have people who know what they're doing behind it as well. The developers, whilst not anything big, have at least got something on their CVs. We are actually we're probably running out of time. We should probably talk about a little bit more about Blasco.
What else is there to say? This one, I don't think we ever actually completed this mission.
No, we actually didn't. This is the reason we're running out of time is this is the part where we rage quit.
On Blasco. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, God, it's a pretty cool concept. You drive a train with the with a truck in tow, and then you have to blow up a couple of buildings.
Yeah, it's a very inventive little game.
Yeah.
It is the kind of thing that you would probably just see for again like £5 on the Steam store.
Steve, if you're listening to this, if you can get the rights to Blastcore 2, just
honestly, if they can just add some even just a HD port.
Oh yeah.
I'm doing quotation marks.
Yeah,
but if they could just port it, I'd happily play this.
It looks like kind of like there's been just a layer of Vaseline being smidged on the screen. Imagine if obviously you can touch them up if you like all the assets and stuff, but if this was in HD, God,
my word,
be all over that shit.
This is the Kickstarter you want, Platonic Games. This is the Kickstarter you need.
Look, we don't care how long it takes, just get the rights.
Blastcore HD, damn it.
Oh, Jesus. I don't think this is a good enough time to cut it out. Again, we are still learning. Of course, we'd like to thank the select community of people who have actually been watching these videos and giving us useful feedback. Again, if you would like to comment, rate, and subscribe, are we doing that now?
I think we're like legally obliged to by being on YouTube, aren't we?
Yeah, I feel like people are going to burst in the door with machetes in a second if we don't. Yes. If you like this video, of course,
Like, rate, and subscribe. Yeah.
I feel so dirty.
I feel really, really dirty saying that. Oh God.
Anyway, that's been Vidya. That's been the week.
I've been JP.
I've been Tim.
And thank you for joining us.
See you later.
Bye bye.